Good morning. What's up, Market Snipers? This is Jesse. I see in the comments here, John, can't wait. What's up? It says 5:32 a.m., so maybe that was a while back. Not sure if you're here now, but it's might be in a different time zone too. So it's 9 a.m. My time. We're right before it, so we're getting an early start. Hope everyone's doing well. And I pointed out yesterday, and just got an alert. Those are automatic bot alerts that we have going on in the background on my computer, since the computer is running the algorithms. The cloud is right, but I have the screens open. I get these alerts, so get the alerts and the emails, and it's a lot, but it's all dialed in. So, anyways, not to get sidetracked, but we're kind of watching this. I always like to go back to and start fresh on the chart, a quick look at it of what's really happening overall, and the overall trend, as you can see with Bitcoin, jumping right in, on the weekly chart, it's still bearish, right? And so we had this nice move up. You can see the trend with the trending dots. And then, during this whole time, calling out, hey, watch out on the weekly chart, bearish MACD crossover, sell signal, a bot potential sell alert system, followed by the higher prices, which we took advantage of as well, creating that bearish divergence, and then going through all those same signals again, right? So if it was in the bull run, I would say that, hey, good morning, Colson. What's up, man? Thanks for posting the sentiment scores like you always do. Appreciate it. Matt Thompson, it's on. Oh yeah. So if you're joining late, you could speed it up because it's going to be recorded anyways, or you could do if this is a recording later, you could always do 1.25 speed. Any higher speed than that, I know some of the snipers do like a 1.75 speed on the recorded coaching and stuff like that, but it's too fast for me to learn, right? I don't know. I like to really dive in to learn something, and I retain the information if I go slower. So for me, like 1.25 is kind of the fast speed I can do for me to comprehend and make sure to retain the information that I'm actually watching. So, but if you're joining late, or you have to do the recording later, maybe consider going to the higher speed so you can get through the full hour, because there's only so much time in the day, and I know you don't want to, just spend the rest of your life with me, right? So get outside and have a little fun. Colson, nice little pump to the run, the long out, shorts out. Okay. Arnold, good morning, boss. What's up, Arnold? Longtime sniper. So again, now that we got sidetracked, we'll get back on. The trend, it was trending up with dots, right? Went through all those signals, and then we had, we were watching out and saying, watch out for the lower targets at 29,000. And then that big push down is like a 12% drop. Took advantage of that and provided a sell signal. And then it's just kind of been like choppy and sideways and more of a downward to the right. So, yeah, I agree. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So the trending dots start to trend back over. They turned red. And so the overall trend on the weekly chart is still down, right? And we're looking at, since the weekly chart was flipping bearish, it's not like the market is just going to flip back around usually and, just go up and make a higher high in 2023 and take this out at 31,000. So it's when the weekly chart flips bearish, typically it's going to be a longer correction, whether that's sideways or down for a bigger retracement, or both, right? Bigger retracement and sideways. So, looking at it, we'll kind of show everything now, because try to keep it clean, stuff like that. And some of these trend lines are based off of the daily chart. So we'll drop down to the daily chart as well. But after breaking down, it did hit two targets. We'll turn on the 200-week moving average, and is back below the 200-week moving average, which is at almost $28,000 now, right? So almost $28,000. Let's go full screen. Since we're diving in now, might as well go full screen here. So, one of the things we've been talking about is that potential lower high, right? And been talking about it even before the breakdown. And we're going to continue to talk about it because it seems like it's becoming more and more of a higher probability that, it builds out that right shoulder, call it what you want, right shoulder, that lower high, and then, price comes back down and hits those lower targets, right? Typically just doesn't go straight down and hit all 4 or 5 targets. Typically there's profit taking, and then there's, trap some more longs and then another short the bounce type of scenario. So that's what we're looking for. And this is what we're kind of watching and looking for before it actually happened, right? So we're watching for it is rolling over, see if it hits one target, if not 2 targets or 3, whatever it is, find support, bounces, and then look for that next opportunity, right? That next opportunity lower if you're looking for a short position. So if we drop down to the daily chart, and I'll probably take a deeper dive on this, and I've got something else I want to talk about. So I'm going to do a Bitcoin video update later today, and I'm going to send it out in the free newsletter. So take a look there. If you're not a subscriber to the newsletter, you can find it on the website. You can find it on Twitter. The newsletter link, and then you just become a free newsletter. I used to have a paid newsletter, but I stopped that, and I only can focus on so many things, and so I decided to go as a free newsletter. So this is the daily chart. And last night, I believe it was last night, put out a tweet that, I'm seeing bullish divergence, right? So bullish divergence on the daily chart after this close, yesterday's close, and then price started to reverse back, right? So you do have like this bullish divergence, which makes me think that, and I was pointing out that it was so early in the daily candle that it's too early to say, but it was a strong move. And if it closes with this strong move, then I'm going to say that it looks like that bullish divergence is in, and the bullish divergence reversal is going to be playing out. And then we'll see if we get into like a higher retracement, build out that shoulder, and then once it rolls back over, attack it to the downside once again. So like I said, I'll do a longer, 7 to 10 minute Bitcoin video update on that and kind of go through it and show everything that I'm looking at, including the bullish divergence. I'll go through that as well. But I just wanted to point that out. So not that I'm giving financial advice, because I don't give financial advice, but if you're in a short position, most likely you took profits and you're out of it if you're a sniper. And maybe that's what Colson's talking about. Short, nice little pump to the run, the shorts out. So if that's what you mean, let me know. And because that seems like it was a good idea. Also, if it closes at this level, it's back above the trending dots. Trending dots might take some time to kind of like roll back over, comes back up. It's slower moving, right? So depending on what setting you have it on, I think I have it on the default setting of 21. Yeah, default setting of 21. So it's going to be a little bit slower. Sometimes I have it on 15, which is a little bit faster moving, but 21 as of right now might take some time to kind of roll over. And then as price is kind of moving it up and down, and then rolls back over after that. So we'll see. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ futures. So this is the daily chart, and still let's go back to the weekly chart and kind of look at it from there. So again, too early to say if this was the end of it. and if this is going to be a lower high. It's too early to call it. It's still early in the week. It's only Tuesday. Still have today, still have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So it could end up being that this was the lower high even back here on this candle, and it could close back below it. And then you get another week closing below it and or closing back below, retesting the trending dots. And then if it tests the retrending dots, obviously that's going to look like a lower high in hindsight, right? So it's too early to say, but it is possible that this is going to be a lower high and starts to roll over. Maybe it comes back down, gets another bounce, puts in another lower high, and then rolls over for a bigger correction, right? So if it gets that bigger correction, just even the eyeball test, you're looking back here. And then yesterday, I think we were talking about, all the way back down to the 200-week moving average would be about 12,600. So a lot needs to happen before that plays out, but it's a weekly chart and it takes time to play out. So you did see that price to get overbought and then reversed, hit some targets. It's got this bounce going, and then we're going to see if it's going to roll over. It seems like we're losing momentum, and it's kind of lining up with that on the larger stocks as well, Apple and Nvidia. So we'll take a look at those. Also, there's a pending sell signal on gold futures weekly charts. We're going to take a look at that. Colson MMs are moving price around based on the FTX news, and everyone who has been short over the past couple of weeks, except shorts built up on Sunday based on the news, now that are being pinched out. Yeah. It's also liquidation games, right? So the bigger players playing liquidation games, they're, retail getting in late on shorts, and they're paying the price on it, right? Longs also, maybe didn't take profit up here, then saw this, and now they see that it's stalling out, and maybe they're getting their second chance of, getting out here before rolling over and getting a correction. So had that amazing rally. We're watching that rally all the way back here. Saw the bullish divergence, got the lower high, and then boom, we're calling the rally. The rally even lasted and went higher than the target. So it was hit all 3 or 4. Pretty sure it hit 4 targets all the way up into this area. But we were watching all the way back here. Bullish divergence, lower high. Bullish divergence, higher low, right? So I'm not even going to blame the morning on that. I'm blaming that I always, in real time, I always get that mixed up. Bullish divergence followed by a higher low, and then the higher probability reversal. As the weekly is closing back above the trending dots, boom, buy signal, off to the races, right? So that's NASDAQ. Again, it's too early to say this wick could be put in, and it could actually close back below here on the week, 15,525-ish, whatever it is. Could zoom in on it. Let's look at the daily chart. So see if it closes back below here, retest the trending dots, kind of bounces up again, and then goes lower. Okay, let's see. DXY. Well, in this case, it's the future, so DX1, but basically the dollar, right? So the weekly chart, still bullish, came back down and retraced it down to the 104.4, but you can see the trending dots are starting to curl back up, right? So not that it couldn't come back down and retest it and then bounce higher to hit some higher targets up here, get a nice retracement in before possibly coming back down lower. So we'll see. We're not going to be too biased. We're going to try to stay as neutral as possible. And as right now, the DXY, the dollar, now it's throwing me off because the futures is actually DX1, but we're just going to call it the DXY. So if anyone calls me on that, I don't care. DXY still bullish on the weekly chart, and that's the trend it's in right now. And had put out some charts, Discord and Twitter of the higher targets here. It's already hit one target, if not two targets there. VIX, not much is happening on the VIX yet. On the weekly chart, could be going through, finding a bottom here, but it could be finding a bottom for a long time. Let's look at the daily chart. Yeah, still not much is happening on the daily chart. Slightly higher lows being put in. I had to think about it. I had to look up slightly higher lows possibly, but still the overall trend is downward. So not much to report on the VIX. Basically the same as yesterday. So if it starts breaking out, obviously we're going to be all over it because we look at it daily, and we'll start calling you out then. Even if it was starting to break out here, we were talking about it, and then it just dropped straight back down. So we'll be ready for it. Even if there's fake outs, we'll still be ready for it, and then eventually we'll see that big move up, right? Possibly. Silver, talked about this as basically the consolidation, and then we'll see what happens after that. Maybe the breakout to the upside, and that'd be a nice move back up to here or higher, right? So we'll see. But as of right now, it's bearish on the weekly chart, and we'll see if it comes back down. Maybe it retests the trending dots first, then comes back down to the 200-week moving average, just as like the brush kind of suggests, this brush idea. So regardless of what actually happens, I'm looking at, in this consolidation period, you're looking at the trending dots, they're trending down this way, and then see if it kind of breaks out to the upside after that. Gold, now you'll see what I'm talking about in the pending sell, right? So it seemed like silver was leading the way, where it sold and came back and retested the 200-week moving average. So we'll see if that happens to gold, see if there's a bigger retracement and comes back down and tests the 200-week moving average. Bitcoin already did. So when silver already hit the 200-week moving average, Bitcoin was still above $29,000, and it hadn't hit the 200-week moving average. And that was one of our thoughts, was silver broke down. Will gold and Bitcoin follow next, right? And will Bitcoin hit the 200-week moving average and hit some other targets as well, right? Well, not only did it hit the 200-week moving average, Bitcoin went below it and is still currently below the 200-week moving average. So now we'll see if it's going to retrace back to the upside, retest it, possibly go higher, and then we'll see if it breaks down from there as well. It's a lot of speculation, so we're just watching right now where gold put in this lower high. Looks like gold's putting in another lower high. Looks like there's a pending sell signal, and then of course the trending dots are still red, and the overall trend is downward. So we're going to see if it's going to break down from here, and then see if it comes back, retest this area, right? So you got like a weekly support area here for the horizontal traders out there. You got weekly support, comes in pretty close to here. One of our sniper targets, I can eyeball it, is coming in about the exact same spot. So it seems like a confluence area to come back, down to this area eventually. And we'll see if gold comes back to retest this. And then you're just waiting patiently for, if you're not shorting it, you're just waiting patiently for the next buy the dip scenario. Could take some time to play out. This is the weekly chart. So you could even say that, it already broke down, came all the way back up, back tested, putting in this lower high, and now the move is in, right? And this would be, if you get the sell signal and, another weekly close below, at that point, you're waiting as like, what other further confirmation do you need to say that, a bigger retracement's coming, right? So I'll post some charts in the Discord with all the details of, the next target probably come back down here with the eyeball test, then down here, and then who knows if we're going, even lower down to this area. So we'll see how it plays out. We get that retracement in, and then where is that next buy the dip scenario? Where is that next big move coming? And we'll be watching and waiting for it. So that's gold. SP 500 looks very similar to NASDAQ. So I don't like going over the same looking charts over and over again. If there's something interesting to where, it looks different, or maybe it's like giving us a clue or leading the way, or, possibly lagging, then I'm more interested. But if it's looking very similar to NASDAQ, not as interested. So I don't spend as much time. Let's look at NVIDIA. If you guys want to comment anything that you want me to take a look at, please do so. If you're a YouTube subscriber, then I'll see your comment. So everyone who's commenting, thanks for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate it. Also, a lot of you are longtime snipers, been following me on Twitter for a long time. So just make sure if it's not like asset that's commonly traded, I may not find it easily. So just make sure to let me know if it's stock, crypto, what type of asset it is, the name of it, and the symbol if it's an off one. Otherwise, if it's a common one that we're always charting, just let me know if you want me to take a look at it. So NVIDIA, right? Let's take a look at it. We're going to bring on RSI. So we're watching it, and even on the long term RSI, again, we were talking about this yesterday. Probably every time we're on the stream, we've been talking about it, but we've been talking about this bearish divergence going back to June. So we've been talking about bearish divergence since June of this year. And we were even saying, well, watch out for future bearish divergence. Then after this breakdown, it's like we got additional bearish divergence. So the next lower high will be a higher probability that prices are coming back down. So all these, the first box here, you could even say that it was already hit, but not really, because price went up and made a higher high, right? And put in additional bearish divergence. So as it's trending back downwards, we're going to see, target one, where the trending dots actually come in to target one. And then we've got, a smaller target two. And then we got this fairly big target three, right? And there's several reasons. I think there's like at least four major reasons why price would come back to retest this area. So I think it was like you got the 200-day moving average, I believe. You got this massive 20% gap. You've got, two major sniper targets. Do you have any view on theta? We'll take a look at it. Davinder, thanks for the comment. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate you. We'll take a look at it. So we'll just get through like 7 to 10, and then I try to do like the charts for about 15 to 30 minutes, and then we'll go through any requests that you guys have, and we'll try to do that like the back half, and we'll spend like 30 to 15 to 30 minutes going over your guys' charts and stuff. So feel free to put the comments in. So we'll look at theta. So there's like four major reasons, and I love the confluences. You're welcome. Thank you. I love the confluence, and so there's so many major reasons why NVIDIA could come back down to this area, and of course, ultimately all the way back down eventually. Thoughts on OP? I'm assuming that's crypto, Colson. I know you're a big crypto guy. You got your pulse, your finger on the pulse on all the crypto, especially with sentiment, and posting that in the Discord every day, pretty much every day, every week for sure. So I'm assuming it's OP. OP is crypto. Pretty sure. So many reasons why to come down. Now this is a weekly chart, so this could take some time to play out, and most likely it's not going to happen overnight. So if we were to kind of draw out like timing wise, maybe we see something like, maybe it takes this long, as you see like a lower highs get put in, comes down, puts in another lower high, right? So if you were to kind of drawing out like a plan of attack that you might see, maybe it comes down like this, puts in a lower high again, hits another target, consolidates another lower high, and then something like that. And then that would be like possibly the next buy the dip scenario. Or if the entire market's even more bearish and just continues down like this before the 200-week moving average kind of catches up over time, right? So 200-week moving average kind of catches up over time. And this is a lot of speculation, but this is what we do, and a lot of times it ends up playing out. So there's several reasons why you could come back to see this area, and then of course we'll see if it comes back, retests, and then that would be the next amazing buy the dip opportunity. So what we always talk about is buy the right dip. When price is up here, it's been overbought on the weekly chart since February 2023, followed by bearish divergence, followed by, if we see a lower high get put in, that's going to be a higher probability that the longer term reversal is in. Now we're going to hit some more targets to the downside. And, I'm going to be surprised if we never saw a 20% gap eventually filled. I'm going to be surprised, right? So let's just take a quick peek at OPU. Thank you. That makes my search so much better, because if I don't have it on my watch list, then I have to type it in, and trying to do this on a live stream, I might fumble around with it. So it just makes it that much better. So thank you for putting in the exact symbol that you want me to chart. So OPUSDT, got it. Perfect. So also had the bearish divergence on the daily chart, and price broke back down. So if you kind of see like if came back down, let me just move this out of the way. But I drew this out, after it was breaking down that, hey, maybe price comes back down here, gets very close to that trend line, kind of bounces out, right? And then breaks down from this longer term trend line here. And then that's going to be your higher probability short. So if you kind of draw it out, like as a swing trader, that's what it's going to kind of be like, right? So for me, this would be the higher probability short. If it kind of builds out that lower high and builds out like a right shoulder, and it breaks down from that trend line, that's where I'd be looking to attack if I was going to take another short. And then you'll see like taking profit, and then I'd be the plan of attack at that point would be, as the weekly chart is going more bearish, as the daily chart is bouncing, I'd be shorting the bounces all the way down. Obviously not financial advice. So if you're a long-term investor, you just have to decide, like, if you're not shorting the bounces in a correction or reversal, at what point do you take profits? At what point do you lock in those profits? Well, if you bought up here, you may not even be taking profits, because this is when it was really hyped up on like YouTube and Twitter. And now it's like you can see like the media machines, like in the news articles, and everything's just going so great for Nvidia this whole time. And then now we're seeing the bearish divergences get put in. So now you're seeing like the bigger players starting to scale out while they continue to trap more retail. And then by then it's the party's basically over, right? So that's what you just have to be aware of. So that's Nvidia. Apple, take a look at that. So we are watching Apple roll over here after, again, bearish divergence. So you have bearish divergence on the daily chart, and bearish divergence here. I did a bearish divergence free video on YouTube like 2 years ago, basically 2 years ago, and there's a lot of views on it. and then I took it off because I ended up doing like a deep dive for Discord for like an hour. But I think I'm going to do an updated free version for YouTube. It'll probably be about a 10-minute video, and then just because I think it helps people, and if you're not, you know, I think it'd be a good tool to have, even if you decide not to like go down the rabbit hole of, being a sniper and learning the ways. Like at least you give you some sort of a tool that you can spot this without, um, just on your own without having to like spend hours, learning it and stuff like that. But if not, the indicator will tell you as well. So if you're in the recorded coaching, but you have the bearish divergence, right? And then price was breaking down, and of course, we're watching it break down on the trend line too. So you've got, all these reasons why the bearish divergence followed by breakdown. You got the RSI sell signal here, and then you get the sell signal on the sharpshooter candles, and then of course everything is breaking down from there, and then boom, gap down. Then we're watching them break down, and then we're talking about, here this basically around here is like, okay, watch out for this, price bounces back up, possibly fills this gap, it was partially filled, and then puts in a lower high and then drops back down. So it pretty much worked out very closely to what we were kind of calling out, in real time breakdown. Now it's hit really hard, and there's been no lower high really to have been put in. So watch price come all the way back up, possibly fill this gap, and it got within 0.45%. So even though it's partially filled, it's filled for the most part, right? So, and then drop back down, another gap down. So drew this out here. Price could come back up, fill this, another partial fill. So we'll see. It's trending downward. And as we look at the weekly chart on Apple, overall, the trend is down still. And that looks like a lower high on the weekly chart as well. So you got the weekly chart. You got the 200-week moving average all the way down here. And what's interesting is Apple put in a higher high versus December 2021. Same with NVIDIA. And it never retested the 200-week moving average. So will it retest the 200-week moving average finally? Because it's one of the few stocks that did not retest the 200-week moving average. And I think it'll take a lot of people by surprise if it does retest it. You can see, this could be a lower high, and, it's trending downward, right? Like everything's trending downward. So if it does come back down here, you can see prices come back down and retest 200-week moving average. So you're hot, Jesse. Thank you. 4K mods. I don't know if it's because I'm sweating. No, I'm not sweating, but thank you. That's funny. Maybe you're talking about my charting, but I'll take a compliment either way. So so that would be interesting because it's one of the few stocks that did not retest 200-week moving average. So even NVIDIA retested the 200-week moving average. So will it retest it this time? Eventually, I would say yes. So we'll see if that happens or not. And but before then, we got some sniper targets where price seems like it would come back into this like 155 area. And since this is such a large asset, and it's one of the quote unquote magnificent sevens, then you would think that the overall NASDAQ and S&P 500 and stuff would come back lower as well, right? So it just seems to make sense. I'm going to point out one last thing, and then we'll jump in. What's up, John? John DeLuca, what's up? Thoughts on NVAX, weekly divergence building, risky play, but maybe a big rally if COVID makes a comeback. Probably best to wait for weekly confirmed breakout. Okay, let's take a look at it. Probably very similar to the charts that I posted for, I think it was BTNX and Myrna, right? It was looking very similar where there could be like weekly breakout and bullish divergence. So, but before we jump into it, um, here's Tilray. So if you look at it, had that breakout, and you're looking at there was a buy signal, and one, two, three targets have been hit so far. But if you're swing trading on the daily chart, and again, I don't give financial advice, but this is for, if you're talking about it from like my standpoint, at what point do you take profits, right? So if you're holding this and you weren't taking profits on a long position and you're swing trading the daily, maybe you hold on to it if you're looking at it from a weekly standpoint. But Tilray Brands moves so quickly that it could erase your gains um, in a very quick way. So like I played this breakout here on stock and options, and I end up taking profit once it hit the second target. So it hit the second target, and then after that there was a reversal with a big retracement down, and then I did not play it this next time up just because I don't like to be in too many trades and I was already in some other things. But as you can see, like at what point do you decide to take profit? You got to have that game plan mapped out. And for me, it was if it hits at least one or two targets quickly, and even if the weekly chart is starting to get bullish, then I'm going to lock in those profits and then look for a potential new entry or look for the next um, the next opportunity on a swing trade, whether it's a different stock, different crypto, whatever. But so you've got, if you look at it, you've got this bearish divergence. I think. Let's see. Yeah, peak, 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 right? Peak, peak, peak. So you got bearish divergence here, came back down, still have bearish divergence, and you've got a potential reversal indicator. The day hasn't closed yet, but it's looking like the reversal indicator is coming in very similar to the way it did down here and very similar to the way it did down here. So you had bearish divergence followed by a reversal candle, and then there was a bigger correction. Now you've got bearish divergence again with another reversal candle at a key target area. So at the very least, it seems like price is going to come back down here. But if the bearish divergence plays out, could be that this was a local top and maybe it comes all the way back down to this area, right? So we'll see, because the weekly chart overall currently it looks still bullish. So maybe it's just a shorter term retracement, but it could be a deeper retracement as well. But the point is, you got to have it all mapped out ahead of time of where you're looking to take profit. Because if you're treating this like a business, whether you're investing or swing trading on the daily, it's all about knowing where you're going to be taking your entry, where you're wrong with stop losses and or something's reversing. Like maybe it's reversing and it never hit a target. Well, locking in some profit is better than no profit, right? Um, and then of course the stop loss in case you're wrong, um, or it was like a mini move, and then instead of it continuing up to the target one, it just came all the way back down, and you just get out of it at that point as well. But when would now be a good time to take profit on Tilray if you haven't already? If you're swing trading the daily chart, that's the way I would kind of look at it. And again, this is not financial advice. Um, I think that's it. Oh, I did want to take a look at. Let's see. Uh, pending buy signal on natural gas futures. So I'll probably do a deeper dive and look at this and post some updated charts on natural gas. It did catch my eye this morning, and there is a pending buy signal. And we'll look at the weekly chart. It's been going through a bottoming phase that we've been talking about all the way since back here in January, and so is has higher low been put in, and are we going to see a breakout to the upside? If you look at the weekly chart, you've got the 200-week moving average way up here at $3, we'll just call it 3.76, right? And so we'll see. You've got bullish divergence, and then these could be sneaky higher lows. Could be sneaky higher lows. We'll see. We'll see if it plays out or not. But pending buy signal on the daily chart. All right, so let's look. Let's go back through here and take a look at it. Let's see. The first one was theta. I don't think I have theta on the sniper top 40. Let's look. So, I mean, overall, Davinder, um, hopefully, hopefully I'm saying it right, Davinder, right? Um, it's still overall bearish, right? So you got the weekly chart, and it's just it's been going through this bear market since the peak back here in April 2021, and it's still way below the 200-week moving average, which is at $2.40. Yep, that's right. Cool. So, people spell my name wrong all the time. They always spell it with an IE. So, I'm always conscious of not, and I don't even care anymore, right? I don't care if you spell my name wrong. And then my last name, they always spell it SEN. So I'm always asking, make sure, hopefully I can spell and pronounce the name correctly. But it's still bearish on the weekly chart. And if we look at the monthly chart, right? So just that's basically the full bull market followed by the bear market, and where does it end, right? It's still bearish. uh we'll jump down to the so you can see everything is just still trending downward. There's no signs of reversal on the monthly chart. We look in the weekly chart, might give us some more clues here. We've got going back to this bottoming phase on the weekly RSI, kind of bottomed June 2022, had some bullish divergence, right? So there was a spike up. You could see that there's still long-term bullish divergence going all the way. You've got a higher low here, but price made a lower low in June 2023. So that's 1 year worth of bullish divergence. And but you just got to know that it's still trending downward. It's still bearish overall on the weekly chart, and could continue to go through this bottoming phase for a while, right? So you just don't want to guess the bottoms. You just want to look for higher probability reversals, and could definitely put this one on the radar if there's a lot of people that are interested in it. But it's still bearish. I'm not sure if you're looking for a buy opportunity. Let's see. Do you have any view on theta? Or if you're just in a short position, let's look at the daily chart. I mean, even the daily chart is still bearish, right? Overall trend on the 200-day moving average is still trending downward, right? So let's see here. There's bullish divergence there. This could be, it's too early to say, but this could be additional bullish divergence on the daily chart. So maybe there will be a bounce, but if there's a bounce, I would expect it to be similar to a bounce like this, where it's not a huge breakout to the upside, and price isn't going to the moon, all while things just DCA on theta right now. Okay, I see. So I mean, these prices haven't been this low since before the bull run. So if you're a if you're a theta believer and you're all about the tech and you believe in the coin and you believe in the project, you believe in all that. I mean, you would be dollar cost averaging at the lowest part since if we look back, since before the bull run. It's better than buying at the top, right? It's not personally in my strategy because you do have like, what if it continued to drop and came back down and did a full round trip back to these areas, right? So this is like March 2020 as for OP. So not sure what that means, Colson. Just can you elaborate? So if it did do a full round trip back to here, I mean, this is why I'm I'm personally not a fan of dollar cost averaging unless it's an uptrend, right? So if it's in a downtrend, longer term or whatever, what if you're dollar cost averaging? It's better dollar cost average now than it is at the top, obviously. But what if it comes all the way back down to like this area as an example? I mean, it's 78% more down to the bottom. And so, it's a possibility, right? So for me, dollar cost averaging isn't the thing for me, right? Especially with the monthly continue to trend lower, the weekly continuing to trend lower. So let's see, you're here. If you're dropping down here, it doesn't seem like there's much support. So you come back down here. Even to that level, right? From here, if you're dollar cost averaging, um, comes back down to here. I mean, 50, 60%, especially while Bitcoin's correcting, if the Nasdaq's going through correction. I don't know. You just have to kind of weigh in what's the most important for you. Because me personally, I'm waiting for like higher probability reversals. And so, on a weekly chart, what does that look like? You got this long-term bullish divergence, and you're looking at RSI like continuing to go down this way, putting these higher lows in, but price is going down lower. And so when RSI and price is going back up in this direction, that's when I'm more interested in dollar cost averaging or buying the right dip, right? So just that's what I'd be aware of. And but on a daily chart, if you're looking at lower time frames, there is some bullish divergence. So maybe there could be a bounce, right? Maybe there's a bounce up to like, or a retracement, maybe up into this area, kind of where the 200-day moving average is coming in. Maybe it bounces up to here. But for the overall trend, I'm not seeing it. If you're an investor, I'm not seeing it yet. So that's theta. Who is next? Colson, OPUSDT. I think I've charted this one before, so it'll be interesting to see if we got OP. Let's take a look. Daily chart. Let's start off the higher time frames. And maybe there's a better well, you said Tether, but maybe there's a better exchange that has more history. I'm not sure. But for just purposes, try to keep this to an hour with 12 minutes left. Again, the overall trend is still down. You can see kind of like after having like this high here in February 2023, it's still continuing downward. You've got the trending dot still trending downward. Red trending dots. OP was launched last July. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So not a ton of history, so you wouldn't really see too much on the monthly chart. So you got to kind of rely on the weekly chart. It's possible that this was the low here, June 2023, and it's possible this is a higher low. It's just way too early to say. And so, kind of a higher probability possibly is that, you know, if you're looking for like a breakout above that, maybe that would be a trend reversal, breaking out to the upside for maybe like a retracement. But there's nothing saying that there's a long-term reversal yet. You could probably even see like the overall trend here. Let's see. Right? Maybe if you saw like RSI kind of breaking above here, maybe there would be like that retracement coming up. But it's possible that it just kind of move, even if it comes back out, it could put in a lower high here, put in a lower high, after this retracement, kind of get rejected and then come back down lower, right? So it's too early to say on the weekly chart. So it could, like I said, it could kind of could even come out like this, still get rejected, make that lower high and come back down like that. And then maybe there would be a longer term move like that. And then you would have to you'd probably most likely kind of adjust your line like that. And it be more of like that type of scenario. So, um, but let's look on the daily because I know you're a swing trader. So let's look at the daily chart. Let's see. So this trend line is drawn out based on the weekly chart. Just kind of get rid of these so it's not as distracting. Still running into the resistance of the downward trending dots. Um, is this a low? It's possible, or will it make another low? It's still bearish as of right now. So, are there signs of it to where it's going to get some sort of a bounce? Possibly, right? Could be some signs. It's too early to say. I'd watch how this candle closes or the next one, unless you're dropping down to like an even lower time frame. So it just depends on what your time frame is. But as of right now, it's just getting rejected at all these levels. So something to pay attention to, and watch. And if you start getting closes back above here, our side is trending up and you're getting closed back above here, maybe it's a higher probability that, it comes back up. There's a lot of overhead resistance right now, and the weekly chart is still bearish. So I would err on the side of caution, Colson. But tag me in the Discord if you want to chat about it more, and be happy to talk about it with you. Or maybe you're looking at something completely different, and I'm completely missing what you're talking about. So just hit me up in the Discord. What else? OP, Theta, NVAX. Okay, let's take a look. I don't think I've ever charted NVAX. I'm assuming it's a stock since you mentioned the C word. Oh, I don't think I've ever charted this, but I'm assuming it's going to look very similar to BNTX and Myrna, which I uh, did chart recently, and I did put those in the Discord, and I think I even posted once on about it on Twitter. So again, let's go back to like the higher time frames. $7.82, so far below the 200-week moving average. Wow. So let's kind of recap it. Let's see. John, what's up, John? Tesla got rejected a couple of dollars away from the long-term descending trend line. from all-time high on the daily. What do you think happens from here? Ooh, maybe it put in a lower high. I know I did a 25-minute video on Saturday, but it could just be putting in a lower high and then going lower. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do another video on it. But for purposes of today, kind of running out of time. But Novax Inc. I'll do some charts too. John, are you in? I can't remember. Are you in the? I don't know your Discord name. Are you in the Discord or on Twitter or where are you at? And maybe I can find you. Um, are you in the newsletter? I could do an updated chart or something. Just let me know where else you follow me, and I'll be happy to do an updated chart for you. Discord. Okay, cool. What's your Discord name? Oh, gotcha. Oh, I know Johnny. So I know the Discord names and Twitter names, but it's the YouTube names are. Yeah, you've been a long time sniper. So awesome. Thanks for always supporting me. Appreciate it. Uh, yeah, I'll for sure. I'll tag you in the Discord with Tesla chart and. But for the purpose of the stream, I'll just kind of keep it to an hour. So Novax, since I never charted, let's look back at February 2021 was the peak, over $300. That's crazy. So that is a full on crash and retracement of 98%. So it's 98% discount, right, from the all-time high. And it's been in this bearish trend, a very strong bearish trend since December 2021. That was basically the last sell signal on the weekly chart, and it's been bearish ever since. So fast forward to, let's see, RSI looked like it started going through like a bottoming phase, April 2022. It's been ultra bearish, and now there's starting to be signs of life on Novax. I'm subscribed to the newsletter who asked about Tesla updated chart. Thank you. Okay. John, got it. Oh, there's two Johns. Okay. All right. So John asked about Tesla. Cool. Oh, I got the Johns mixed up. Okay. Novax is John for longtime Discord, Twitter, and then John. Okay. Newsletter. Gotcha. All right. Now I got it straight. So Johnny got him in the Discord. Yeah, we're already talking about Novax. So we're an hour in, and I'm going to start getting the energy's going to start to get drained, and got some projects to work on later today as well. So, but let's keep going on Novax, and I'll send out on Twitter and the newsletter. I'll send out some Tesla charts. Thanks, John and John. So it's been going through this bottoming phase for a long time, for more than a year, and there are signs of life, right? So the weekly chart RSI, looks like it may have found bottom here this year, 2023. It doesn't mean it can't break back down. So you're going to be kind of watching like the overall upward trend, right? And I'd be cautious because there's no longer term reversal yet. But this could be the bottom, and this could be a lower high, and then it could reverse around and see like even a retracement, a half, like just maybe there's a retracement just from this last breakdown here, right? If that were to happen, an eyeball test is that you would see price come back to like the $30 to $40 range, right? That seems like a strong possibility if you get like a longer term reversal. So you see RSI and Johnny, in the Discord, we've put out these charts in the bear market, and even before the Bitcoin bottoming phase. If you remember back in those updates, we were talking about this exact scenario of what Bitcoin could do, where it goes through that bottoming phase, does that bullish divergence, and you see RSI starting to move back up an upward trend, and then you see price kind of catch up after that. So as RSI is getting up closer to like that bullish territory, and then you see like that trigger of like the daily chart become like a buy signal. Um, it may take some time to play out because here we are in September. Maybe if you follow this trend line up, and maybe it happens before then, but it may take some time for it to continue to like build up. But when it does, I could definitely see like some sort of retracement here, all the way back up to the 200 moving average. Could be quite an amazing opportunity on buy the right dips type of scenario, because even a retracement back up to like here, like an eyeball test, looks like over 400%. Even a retest eventually of the 200-week moving average is 1,000% retest. So doesn't mean that it will, but if you do keep an eye on it and it continues to build up momentum, the slightest move could be huge. And again, it's 98% off the all-time. You're the man. Go Vikings and Dolphins. I don't know. The Vikings gave away that game. They need to sign Dalton Reisner. And he was all over Twitter saying, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready. So we need to sign that guard and get him in there. But just goes to show that Madison might not be enough. We might need that running back too. So sign Jonathan Taylor? I don't know. Trade for him? I don't know. Maybe. So this would be something interesting. So let's look at the daily chart. It might not quite be ready, but it looks like it's putting in slightly higher lows. So in the daily chart, maybe it's that next type of buy the dip scenario when the daily chart makes a move. But as of right now, it's not. And it looks like, it was going to make a move to the upside, but then end up getting rejected by the 200-day moving average and, other things as well. So if you look at back here, this, again, this could be the low, and these could be slightly higher lows. And so you just be kind of waiting for, maybe it just takes some time to play out. And then once it regains, and everything kind of flips around, like it takes time, right? So you got like the 200-day moving average, even that would take some time to kind of like play out, where it kind of just takes time to get the ship turned around. It just doesn't spike, typically it just doesn't spike like crazy. And this actually will trigger, like, even though it's not part of my trading strategy, a lot of traders, investors do follow the moving averages, right? So if you're looking at price to get back above, maybe it does something like that and then bounces, and that's kind of like your move. And RSI on the weekly chart is more bullish, and it's starting to become bullish, and then it becomes bullish, and that's when you see that massive move. And if you look at it from a daily chart here, let's go back. You have a gap fill here. Let's measure that out. So it's just really diving into all of your. Let's put this on the chart. This is interesting to watch. I was watching the BTNX and Myrna as well. This is something to keep an eye on as well. Let's see, gap. Let's move that here. So you can kind of see where I'm putting the gap is, and let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it. I'm putting it right at that wick, right? Because that was the last breakdown before it gapped down overnight. So I'm putting that gap there. And I just want to know for myself, like, what percentage of a gap down is that? Because if it's like a 1% to 2% gap, is it something that the market is really even paying attention to? Are the market makers even caring? But that's about a 15% gap. So it seems like it's a significant gap. So it seems like eventually it's going to get filled, right? Are there any other gaps? There's smaller gaps here. Any other bigger gaps? There's a massive gap up here. I can tell you with the eyeball test. That's a massive gap. I think it goes up even higher. Yeah, right here. That's massive at $56. doesn't mean the gaps will always get filled, because, what if the stock company goes out of business? What if the crypto asset closes its doors, right? Um, so you just got to be aware that nothing is 100% certain, and that's why we don't go all in, and you treat it like a business, and you don't risk everything and bet the farm, because I've done that in fix and flips, and then it wasn't up only real estate in 2008, and I had to start over, and it was very difficult. Even though I crunched the numbers a million times, I kept doubling down, doubling down, doubling down, and guess what? The market crashed 50% in real estate in Arizona within like 6 months, right? So not all areas will crash, not all stocks will crash, not all crypto assets will crash the same. Or as you can see, Novak's dropped 98%. Not all stocks and crypto assets will, right? But this is another 20%, 21% massive gap. So if you're mapping all that out, mapping the gaps, map the gap, right? You can kind of see the potential. And that 200-week moving average was, well, we're over now. Oh, you guys got me on a run. Um, so both gaps are massive opportunities, and they're well below the 200-week moving average. So there's a lot of potential in this one, and that's all it is for right now, is potential. So I'd be looking for like a higher probability reversal. But that seems like a good find, John. Good job. Thanks everyone for all your support. I'll work on that Tesla one for the newsletter. Not sure if I'm going to send it out today. Maybe I'll do an update on it. Maybe I'll send it out with the regular newsletter today. But always feel free to join the Discord too, John, and tag me. And I'm always happy to update charts for people, on a daily basis there. All you got to do is tag me, and if I don't see it, tag me a second time, and make sure I don't miss that you did want me to chart something. So thanks for all your support. This will become a recording, and I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thank you.